to win in the south of France tomorrow, Wigan would be at home. And they really would be at home, I understand. Spoke to Ian Lenigan, their chairman. He said, yes, if we get through and if Warrington do the trick against the Catalan Dragons next week, it's all arranged. It is definitely at the JJB Stadium, but that is a long way down the track. Here's Matt Cook for Bradford, aiming to kick-start this match again in the second half. Get things going just as it was for them in the opening half, where they raced into an 8-0 lead.
They've got to consolidate as well as they did in that first 20 minutes. Utilisation of Joe Van Genaar and Andy Lynch, who I thought were outstanding, especially in the first 15 minutes. Kick and chase has to be good. On the short blind side, they're going for the power play.
And they are with Morrison. Oh, he tried to get the ball around the corner. And he's claiming there that it was touched by the Wigan player. And the touch judge and referee will consult here.
I think he might be right. I think Calderwood's had a little bit of a dash at this one. Yeah. Yep. Or was it touched again by Nero? I think Calderwood touches it there, but does Nero get a touch to it? I think he might. This will be interesting. It should be, as far as I'm concerned, a Wigan head and feed.
I think the referee has just asked Ben Taylor to look at this so as to get it absolutely right. It's a crucial decision, because if Bradford get head and feed here, they're in a great position.
Well, it's not a knock-on because he was running the opposite way. I'd be giving this to the Cherry and Whites, head and feed.
Well, Phil Bentham's having a look at this, the video referee, not Ben Taylor, as I said, Phil Bentham.
There's no doubt in my mind that Calderwood does get a hand to it, but he's running backwards to his own try line.
But he's given the turnover here. He said it's a knock-on. He's decided himself, Ashley Klein. I don't think he got any help then from Phil Bentham.
He got it right. They went for the power play. They're right. He was on the last. Nice to see the man with the whistle taking control out there. Pretty important now that Wigan, and I'm sure that Brian Noble would have just said to his chargers, nothing silly, just consolidate, make yourself into a good position. Something that they failed in the first quarter. But as you mentioned, Eddie, the introduction of Gareth Hock certainly lifted this Wigan outfit.
Yes, it has, without a doubt. Here is Eamon O'Carroll now. Last tackle here for Wigan, Lulawai. Smith peels away, gets the pass, finds Barrett. Barrett, under pressure, gets the kick in. It's high, it's spinning under the lights. Well claimed by Michael Platt. He must have moved from the field of play to defuse that.
He certainly did, and I must say, what wonderful refereeing from Ashley Klein. Look at him, he's there with him.
Wigan piling in here now, looking for the mistake from Bradford.
Years ago, Eddie, we used to say that the merry whistleblowers were a little bit out of condition, not these days. That's the one great advantage about them being full-time, isn't it?
It is indeed, as Tajulala plays the ball to Newton. On at the start of this second half, as you've just seen. This is Newton again, left-footed. Not a bad kick, actually, from the hooker, that. But Mathers is the man who collects it underneath his own sticks. Let's go to the sideline. Rod Studder's got former Wigan favourite Chris Radlinski with him.
Yeah, one of the Wigan all-time greats with me, Eddie. Chris, what did you make of the first half?
I thought it was a typical playoff game. You know, both teams started really strong and really confidently. I think towards the end of the game, at the end of the first half, Wigan got the upper hand.
And they're getting the upper hand here now, because this is Lulawai, and Lulawai finds Pat Richards. Richards comes back inside. Good cover defence from Bradford, though. Lulawai again, and he finds Tim Smith, and Smith finds Barrett, and Barrett will stab the ball through. There's a race on here, and it is won by Cole. Sits down and play.
I can't believe it. I think he's gone over the whitewash.
And his face actually might just have given him away.
Beautiful kick from Barrett. He's onside.
That's what we thought.
Is he?
I think he's onside. Yeah, of course he is. Long way away behind that line. And oh, this is going to be split second time. I'd give it. I think the white boots, or silver boots, whatever they are, they're pretty light. May just have merged in, or maybe not. I reckon they'll give this one.
Well, look where referee Ashley Klein is. He actually masks the try line that way, and that's the same time. Apparently we've matched up two machines there on exactly the same time to prove that that could be a try for Mark Calderwood, and if it is, he is the most relieved man in this stadium. The try is given. Well, Calderwood, whose tries at Odsal last year turned the game around against the Bradford Bulls, has given Wigan the perfect start to this second half. Boy, they had to get the slide rules out for that though, didn't they? His heart must have been missing a beat.
He was lucky just to be able to lift the foot.
We're not here, Steve-o. This isn't given, I bet.
You're right. Tremendous stuff, though, by Thomas Luluwai. He's having the game of his life. Controlling things, little neat kicks, making sure that everything's fine, and what a great option it was. They were all out of position, and the slippery conditions just nearly brought it. Oh, he said. Boy. Well, he said he wanted to give them a farewell gift.
Yes, he'll be plying his trade with Hull FC in 2009, Mark Calderwood. He really hasn't hit the heights at Wigan that he hit during his Leeds Rhinos career, but that could well be one of the most important tries of his Wigan time. And Richards adds the extras.
Well, every player has a favourite player. Mark Calderwood just loves to chase kicks. In fact, probably never been fully utilised in his time at Wigan, as they take a 10-point lead here now. But he'll chase those kicks all day, use his speed to great effect. With a little bit of relief, extend Wigan's lead here. Wigan now, Eddie, in complete control.
Well, he scored 3 tries against Bradford at Odsal this time last year. Then in the following week of the playoffs, he broke an ankle against Hull, and that was last September. He'll hope that lightning is not going to strike twice in 2008. We rudely interrupted Chris Radlinski, so back to him with Rod.
I don't think he minded being interrupted by that Mark Calderwood try. Eddie, is that the game, Chris, do you think?
Oh, definitely not. You know, we've seen before, you know, playoff games go right to the wire, so there's 33 minutes left in this game and a lot more points I can see.
And just finally, I mean, there's been a big row. You live in Wigan, you know about where the game's being played and all that kind of shenanigans. Have the Wigan fans done themselves proud in turning it into a mini JJB?
Well, you know, you can't get into the politics of it. It's happened and you deal with it, and the Wiganers, you know, it kind of makes you be proud to be a rugby fan tonight. They've turned up in numbers, and the pubs in Wigan are full of supporters, so you know, the rugby league people should be very proud.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
Well said, Chris Radlinski. And if you are watching this in one of the crowded pubs in Wigan, well, you should be here at the game supporting the Wigan Warriors in person, but well, if you're watching it on Sky Sports, you've got the next best thing. About 7,000 we're told inside here tonight, and so that really means that you know, the game has lost as well financially, because I think they would have expected 10, 12, maybe more at the JJB Stadium. It's just about cut the attendance in half. The fact that they've had to come here to witness, and I mean, I can't quantify it, Steve. I'm not a very good mathematician. You might be able to, but what's 5,000 at £20 or thereabouts?
Well, look at it, 20,000, aren't you, at least, in regards to how many...
100,000, I think.
Well, yeah, but you're talking about, there'll be a lot of kids involved there, you see. There's no whole play the top ones.
All right, let's call it £10 then. 5,000, 50?
Yeah. Either way, it's...
I wouldn't like to see his expenses, Phil, would you? This now is Craig Kopchak for Bradford. The Bradford Bulls looking to respond with Newton, and here is Jeffries, and Jeffries short ball to Michael Platt. Good defence from Wigan out there. Here is Jeffries. Now it's Andy Lynch. Couldn't get the ball away.
They've got to get the second phase working, Bradford. It's pretty much one out at the moment.
Jeffries and Harris. Here is Matt Cook. Down he goes on the last tackle. Newton scheming at dummy half, wants to get on with it. Goes himself, Newton. Gets the ball in. Oh, it's been knocked. It's a forward pass. It's a forward pass. Lynch thought he'd got his second try. The ball certainly took a deflection in flight. Steve McNamara must think, what on earth's going on here tonight? Nothing is going right. Let's have a look. Newton. Is it that one?
Well, does it come off Lulawai's head, or... Well, Newton's moving forward. We haven't seen...
Again, though, look at the hands when he makes the pass. That's not what the referees, touch judges, video refs are told to look at. Look at the angle of the hands when Newton makes the pass.
Yeah, but what it
Came off a Wigan hand. In fact, it was Trent Barrett who falls to the floor, throws his right hand up, and hits the ball.
But was it a forward before then? That's what the referee has decided upon. But tell you what, if you're a Bradford fan, you think that the gods are against you.
Here is Smith. This is Gareth Hock. That's the last one. That's the turnover. They went for the power play, then Wigan 30 metres away from the Bradford line. Evans for Bradford. Penalty for Bradford. Evans, by the way, another Bradford ball who'll be joining Castleford next year.
Well, Steve McNamara will be thinking to himself, they had a legitimate try, I feel, turned down early in the first half, and that very well could have been given if they'd have seen the ricochet of Barrett's head.
Here's Solomona, though. Hope springs it over for Bradford while he's there. That's a beautiful ball, and this is Michael Platt.
He had Jeffries on the inside, decided to go on his own. They've got the numbers out wide.
Tadulala hauled back and unfairly, and now it's an offside decision.
Well, a quick play of the ball, you can see that Richie Mathers went pretty high. They'll take it back, head to tap. Boy, they need points, and they know it. 10 points adrift.
Take the tap, and here comes Kopjak. And Coley was high under the sticks.
Well, that's 2 on the trot. He's going to have a little work, perhaps.
Well, the first was a penalty for offside. There's no doubting about that one.
There was a high shot involved in that previous one as well, Eddie.
Yeah, there was. They're running it as you would expect. This is Lynch again. Steve McNamara, this is maybe a crucial phase of the game for Bradford. That will not be denied. It's Finnegan. Simon Finnegan for Bradford. Simon Finnegan had 3 seasons at Widnes. He knows this ground better than anybody. He got a try against Wigan here in 2004 for the Widnes Vikings when they won 20 points to 16. He has just given Bradford's playoff hopes the kiss of life.
Beautiful. The quick pass from Terry Newton was nothing short of superb. Finnegan says, let's go right underneath the sticks here. That's how to come to it. They looked a little bit tired there, Wigan defence. Stuart Fielden couldn't fill in quick enough. Vital extras.
Posted by Iestyn Harris, taking over from Paul Deacon in the kicking. And 18-14 in Wigan's favour, but Bradford fighting back. We have never had extra time in a playoff before. We're 4 points away now, and Terry Newton and co knows this could be the night.
Look at the gap there. Fielden is down on one knee. See you later, sunshine. Finnegan all the way. Nobody touched him. Didn't get anywhere near laying a finger on the man, and it's game on.
Yeah, you're right, Steve. It's a combination of poor marker defence, but also Stuart Fielden being too wide as the A defender. He was far too wide there. He needed to be a lot tighter. When you're defending your line, you have to have a lot of numbers around to play the ball, and Wigan were guilty of being far too loose there. Interesting you note as well, Eddie, we talk about Paul Deacon being replaced as kicker. I'm not even sure he's been on the field since this half has started. We mentioned before half-time about the injury. He was hobbling. I'm sure he hasn't come back.
No, can't see him out there. Here is Jeffries. Jeffries to Harris. Will have to play an increasingly crucial role now, Iestyn Harris, in this match.
Not only that, Eddie, it means that Terry Newton has to stay out there for the full time as well. This is going to be a good kick.
It's off the boot of Jeffries. It's not bad. It's in between Pat Richards and Richie Mathers. Richards picks it up. The chase is good. They've been effervesced by that try from Finnegan, have the Bradford balls. Kopczak. Well, if he has pepped up Bradford in the same way that Gareth Hock has, he's had a great stint since he's come on. That was a good ball wide. Cameron Phelps plays it to Mark Calderwood. That's the fourth for Wigan. Bradford suddenly with the sniff of something. Here goes Fielden. Stands, gets the ball away to Luluai. Luluai now straightens it up. That's the last. Right on halfway, Wigan. Tim Smith, a dummy half for them. Barrett drills the ball all along the deck. And that will bounce a little bit unkindly for Michael Platt, but too long for Wigan.
They were disappointed with that. It was a good build-up, and he knows it as Barrett. He realises that this game is far from over. It looked as though they had a commanding lead, but 10 points in tight games like this is insufficient.
That's down to Rod on the side.
The eagle eye of Sean McRae was absolutely right, Eddie. Paul Deacon is on the Bradford sideline watching and waiting to see if he can come back on. He's got ice just underneath his right knee. You see him there. He's just flexing it, stretching it. I wouldn't rule him out from coming back into this game. It's not a permanent game-ending injury, but it's certainly enough to keep him off just for the moment.
And he was watching on there as Semi Tajulala couldn't take a pass in that would, I think, have resulted in a try, because there was plenty of space ahead of him. Watch this from Nero. Just dipped in front of the Fijian winger. Look at the amount of grass ahead of him. And there's the ice on Deacon's knee.
Just a poor pass. He tried to take it on the half volley.
Gareth Hock is handed down.
You know what? He's a raging bull, isn't he, for Wigan? He likes the bump and grind of rugby league. He invariably gets his arms free in the tackle. It's almost impossible to stop him offloading if he chooses to do when he carries that ball.
Tim Smith and Fielden playing a neat 1-2. There is Barrett. Oh, they put it down, Wigan. And one young man over there with hand to his throat. Cameron Phelps. Oh, a real collision with Tajulala.
As soon as the ball went high, Phelps was looking at it and then back. Oh, gee, that looks bad. I thought he hit him on the chest in the first impact, but when you see it on the replay, this is pretty high. Oh. The officials haven't seen it on there, but
I think they've seen it on the replay.
I think there'll be a few officials see it now.
You talk about the influence of a big screen, Eddie, in a stadium. That big screen's not here. The referee can't see that again. It's almost trial by replay.
Okay, hold that side of there. I'm going to put this into on report.
It was high, it's on report.
But I think he'll put the scrum down just the same, won't he? Because he didn't see the incident. He's only had a word in his ear, and he's had a glance at the big screen. So it's on report. He's just explained that to Andy Coley and the Wigan front row. Meanwhile, Cameron Phelps, as you see in the background rather, he is receiving treatment for the injury. Semi Tajulala faces an anxious wait should Bradford get through to the next phase.
We can't go off the video, sorry.
See, that's another interesting argument, isn't it? Are you able to use the video ref in that situation for foul play to say that should be a penalty to Wigan? Because we all agree it should be. It was a high shot. What he's done is said there's something going on, I haven't seen it.
I think you'd slow the game down too much, Sean. You'd have to look at every high tackle, watch it again on replay, and the game will become twice as long.
Well, you might be right, Phil, but in this situation where a player's been injured and he's clearly hurt, there. There's time out. I think that there's an opportunity for a video ref to say there's something going on there. Do you want me to give you some information?
Yeah, but you then get every other player going down injured on the high tackle, appealing on the replay.
Yeah, it's a difficult one. I understand it. I think Ashley Klein has done the right thing by saying, right, okay, we didn't see it. Let's get on with the game. If Bradford get through, then maybe this fella may miss a vital game. Who knows?
Could have an impact also on Fiji in the World Cup because he's in the squad. Anyway,
it was definitely high. You can't avoid the
although
facts.
Phelps was slipping, wasn't he? He was He was slipping, but it was a bit swinging the arm.
It was high.
Well, it's up to the judiciary to make their decision about it. Here is Tadulala. Plays the ball to Newton. Aye, Palliasina's out there now.
Well, they got away with it, Tadulala, but it's the type of thing that'll lift Bradford. We saw in the opening 5 minutes that Bradford came to crunch the opposition. Crowd thought there was some sort of obstruction there. There wasn't. No Shepherd really.
It was a tremendous defence, but it'll have to be good again here. Harris looking to exploit them down the right-hand side. Can't on that occasion. Morrison, dummy half, finds Jeffries. He'll hoist the kick. That's a great kick. They're all after this. But didn't Mothers take it well? And he hit the deck very, very quickly indeed.
Not only that, was quick enough to make sure that he moved. Not that officials give the voluntary tackle these days. Good work by Yasin Harris. He's working overtime. Big responsibility on the shoulders of the Welshman. He knows he's got to steer the side around without Paul Deacon out there.
Good strong run from Andy Coley, but Wigan still inside their own 20-metre zone. And here comes the last tackle from Bradford on Gareth Hock. Just about 28 metres away from their own line, so the kick here vital for Wigan. And the chase. Up it goes straight in the air from Pat Richards, and Richards collects it! Brilliant play from Richards. Oh! And it's then put down by Cameron Phelps.
What wonderful football. Rugby league football at its best, this. You should never let the ball bounce, but it sort of didn't. Bang! It should have been Bradford, they should have been going for it. If that had been a try, that would have been sensational.
Fantastic work from Richards, but Phelps maybe feeling the effects of that bang in the throat. Here is Jeffries. Great offload, that by Finnegan to Michael Platt. And Michael Platt straightens it up. Stams couldn't get the ball away though. Newton, the dummy half for Bradford. Harris and Solomona.
He's lost it.
He has lost it. I think he tried to put a little kick in down the line then.
By the way, Barrett has come up with it.
Well, who's tackled who there? Calderwood's all over the back of Trent Barrett, as is David Solomona.
That's good refereeing as well. They're getting tired out there, and there's legs and arms tangled all over it. You know, an inexperienced referee would have given a penalty there, because a lot of pressure from the Wigan fans over to that far side. Ashley Klein's having a belter.
Here's Palliasina. They deal with him, Langley and Kopjak. Smith, Harrison Hansen. Great defence from Bradford here. Flying in the tackle, Bradford. Mothers. Couldn't get through, last one. Hyam, Tim Smith, dabs it to the corner. Richards is after this, but the ball will beat everybody.
He'll be happy with that. Smith knows the importance of just putting him down there. Players are getting tired. It's been a rugged contest. Bad pass, just a lack of concentration. Come up with the error.
Tell you what, we say it every year, and we've been having playoffs since 1998, so we've had a decade of them now. Once the 27 weekly rounds are out of the way, the intensity level just goes up a notch, doesn't it?
Unbelievable. And can you even think about the fact a lot of people, a lot of rugby league fans said it'll be a shambles. Let's hope they've gone to another sport.
Wigan just ahead by 4 points the last quarter of the match. 23rd playoff match for the Bulls. They've never ever missed a series. The 24th playoff match for Wigan. Remarkably, they missed out in 2005-2006. Actually played more playoff games than Bradford, although Bradford have never missed a series. Just a bit too deep for the kick.
Yeah, a bit too strong there from Newton. And there's so many key players out there that you just feel nervous. That just a touch of quality and skill and class will tip this game one way or the other, Phil.
Well, you talk about the quality. Bradford have had a decade of success, and much of that, Eddie, has come on the left-hand side of the field. Whatever players they've had, they've gone left and been successful. David Solomone is perhaps the key to unlocking Wigan's defence, and the right-side defenders for Wigan will come under continued pressure if the score remains at this point.
Brian Noble, he has won 4 of 6 against the Bulls since leaving Bradford in 2006. Watching here as they get a penalty for interference from Solomone on the ground.
And that was brought about by brilliant play by Mickey Hyatt. Quick run from dummy half, knew that the defence was struggling, so therefore it goes through the brain. We're not ready. We've got to slow them down somehow. You always take the gamble, and that gamble has gone against them.
And 2 points on offer with Pat Richards on the field. No wonder they're going to kick a goal, is it? Because it'll just mean that Bradford have to score twice to get ahead of them.
Well, it also slows the game down a little bit, and Wigan have been under a lot of pressure in the last 10 to 15 minutes. They've been doing a lot of defending on their try line. They haven't spent a lot of time with the football putting any pressure on Bradford. I think this is a very, very good decision. Whether he kicks a goal or not, it slows the game down, gives them a little bit of recovery time. Obviously, it's a bonus if he does kick it.
And Bradford have been to 6 grand finals out of 10. But their last 2 playoff matches have ended in defeat. Wigan last year and Hull away in 2006. And this could be a vital 2 points for Wigan in their quest for victory here tonight. Pat Richards, Super League's top point scorer.
No.
Misses it. Now then.
They'll get the ball back though.
They will. 20-metre optional kick for Bradford.
Well, it wasn't far off, it wasn't. You can't really put that down to nerves. He's
misses as good as a mile at this level. He knows that.
He's been around a while, hasn't he?
Sean
Pat
O'Loughlin
Richards.
is club captain just in front of him there, by the way. A blow for Wigan. He's out for the rest of the season. And while we're talking about World Cups, blow for England that O'Loughlin will not be in Australia with the English. Coley with a strong run and a brave tackle by Justin Harris is about half his size. Oof! Big collision on Harris and Hansen. Bradford piling in looking for the mistake. That was Paul Sykes with that one. Here is Palliasina. All hands to the pumps when Palliasina gets hold of it. An untidy play the ball, but they're allowed to play on, Wigan. That's higher. Good tackle by Solomone.
Look how he gets up to his feet very, very quickly. Again, Bradford. They're slow to get to it. He's there.
He is in. It's a pass inside to Joel Tompkins from Mark Calderwood. The Barrow kick opened the door. They somehow got to it first. And young Joel Tompkins, his 12th try of 2008. He got one last week at Saints. A vital try against the Bulls in March. That was his first at the JJB Stadium in 2 years. Here's another vital one at the home from home.
The quality of utilising Trent Barrett out wide. Keep him away from all the heavy action so that he has the time of his life to get the kick away. Calderwood, and this guy, Joel Tompkins, he has a wonderful habit of popping up when you need him. He made his debut on this particular ground many years ago for the Wigan club, and he has come up with surely one of the most important tries of his career.
And Joel Tompkins was sent to Widnes 12 months ago for a long period. At the time, he wasn't good enough to make the Wigan first team squad. And to be fair, he didn't look like a Super League player in his time at Widnes. But it's amazing what a difference a year has made. At the age of 21 now, he started to mature. He's gained so much confidence from 1 or 2 tries he scored earlier this season for Wigan. And he now starts to look like a player who can handle it at this level.
Well, Pat Richards missed a penalty a few minutes ago. He makes no mistake this time. It's 24 points to 14. The gap's only 10. Bradford are still in this. But that could be a very important blow that Joel Tompkins has just struck.
And all brought about by wonderful play by the hooker, Mickey Hyatt. He ran from dummy half the first one, and that allowed Richards to get the penalty. He's done it again on the second occasion, and a quick play of the ball, and it leaves Bradford in all sorts of trouble.
Wigan looking to get away with that. The ball from the kick-off just came off the hands of Trent Barrett, I think, went backwards. Wigan managed to pick it up. And talking about being picked up, Calderwood's just been picked up by Chris Nero and David Solomona. Here is Palliasina. Havoc. This fella, when he gets the ball, he wreaks absolute havoc in the opposition defence.
He certainly does, but I must say, though, that I've been very impressed with the way that the Bradford defence have handled him. Normally he gets more metres forward than that. But as you're right, Eddie, the mere presence of him just being out there.
He's made more metres forward and more tackle busts in 2008 than any other Wigan player. Trent Barrett's gone for a 40-20 here. Tajalala's underneath it. Strong run. Oh, and I don't think... Is it Cameron Phelps again?
Yeah, he's out of it. He went down very awkward.
I think he got into the tackle all wrong then. And it is Cameron Phelps. He's in a mess. This is Langley, meanwhile, for Bradford as play goes on.
They've still got the quality out there to the Bradford Bulls. They know that they can still get a try, but they've got to get it pretty quickly. Oh, well done forward. It was
from Sykes to Evans. There's no argument about that one. But Phelps is still down over on the far side of the field. It was an awfully awkward looking tackle. There's the forward pass.
Yeah. According to your rule book, Eddie, watch the hands, and you were absolutely spot on there. This is the incident. Just couldn't get out of the way there, and I think perhaps the leg comes up into the rib cage, and that is painful. It probably did more damage sort of being relaxed and banging the body on the ground. Either way,
Cameron Phelps and Semi Tajalala have had a bit of a do tonight, haven't they?
Well, it's not tiddlywinks.
Nothing illegal in that run, by the way.
No.
But Cameron Phelps just went down like a sack of spuds then.
But it's moments like these, in these games, that you've got to put your body on the line. There was no fear factor there with this young fella, Cameron Phelps. He said, he's coming at me, I'll take him. Okay, he went in awkward, just couldn't get his head out of the way and his body out of the way quick enough.
You have to admire the way rugby league professionals just get on with the job.
Well, when they go down, Eddie, 99.9%, there's usually something wrong with them.
Eddie, you've got to imagine here now that he'll leave the field, which means that Wigan need to find a new player to defend in the right centre position. There again is the charge. It is a brave attempted tackle, but somebody else will have to, I think, fulfil that role for the next 13 minutes, because Bradford will continue to use this man. He's their powerful strike option on the left-hand side of the field. Bang. See, Joel Tompkins recognises instantly the pain and trouble that his teammate's in.
Listen, I've never made a tackle in my life, but was that copybook? Did that look right to you? It didn't to me.
It was just a little bit too relaxed.
It was awkward, wasn't it?
Yeah, luckily he got his head out of the way, which is what you should do. Shoulder down, but it was just going a little bit sort of relaxed rather than pushing forward.
And Tajalala's legs are like tree trunks, by the way.
Yeah, he's a tough man to tackle, but if we're going to talk technical, if we're going to talk what's in the textbooks here and the coaching manuals, that should have been a left side tackle. He's tried to make it into a right shoulder tackle. That's got him into some bother. But, you know, at that speed, everything happens so quick. Sometimes you've got to take the coaching manual out, haven't you? That wouldn't be something you teach a child to do, or teach a young boy trying to play the game. But he's just got it wrong.
Well, how do you have time to think in an instance like that? You just see what's coming at you and say, well, here we go, I'll do my best.
That's right, Eddie. You don't have time to think in this game. These things happen in milliseconds sometimes. It's just all the conditioning, all the training, all the coaching you've undergone to become a professional athlete.
What did you say last week? Rugby league is not a sport for the human body.
It's there's a lot of mini car crashes, and we've just seen an example of it.
Absolutely.
Well, the new gladiator that they're throwing out to the right-hand side looks to be Phil Bailey here. I think he'll defend in the right centre position, and physically he will be up to whatever Solomona, Jeffries and Tajalala throw at him.
I think you're right, Phil, in regards, because if Bradford have any chance to salvage this game, they've got to look for the likes of Solomona with his offloads.
I think he's just been told he's got to mark Semi Tajalala. He shook his head then, not me.
Oh, it's been there, done that, this fellow.
There's an interesting clash, by the way, out there. There's Tadulala on one side and Mark Calderwood on the other. Tadulala for Fiji, and Mark Calderwood now is suddenly a Scot. So Mark Calderwood for Scotland in the World Cup.
Where was he in 2000?
Yeah, I know. He might have been playing for England. The Scottish World Cup coach of 2000 is our guest tonight. With a name like McRae, couldn't be anything else, could he?
No, well, you never know. I mean,
Hawkeye the new, Sean?
Yeah, he may have played a round of golf at St Andrews.
Or been to McDonald's, you never know.
Eddie, I often talk about concentration, and you know my theory about 4,800 seconds. It becomes more difficult when there's such a stoppage like this, and we all hope that Cameron Phelps is okay. It looks rather serious at this stage.
It does, doesn't it?
I'm sure, you know, he's got 2 doctors, 2 physios.
Let's hope it's just
teammate
precautionary.
and a kitman there helping him to come off the field. Let's hope he is okay. But what about the breaking concentration?
Yeah.
How to switch back on? Which of the players who can do that instantly here now when the referee blows his whistle?
Bradford supporters applauding Cameron Phelps because he has been brave tonight, and let's hope it looks worse than it actually is. But I think he was knocked out, wasn't he? And his head clattered into the pitch as well.
Yeah,
let's hope it's only concussion. Let's hope. Fingers crossed.
Let's hope so. But I do realise that, as Phil was saying, the Wigan players will be saying, "Come on, we've got to lift it. We've got to lift it for this guy that's just been taken from the field of play." They've got head and feet.
They have the oxygen there as well. Anyway, meanwhile, play continues, and 13 minutes remaining. Wigan with a 10-point lead. It is not over yet.
Smart move by Brian Noble there. He's thrown Gareth Hock out into the fray, and the few occasions that he's had possession, Hock, he's done some very, very skillful things. Oh, beautiful offload there.
Fantastic offload by Palliasina to Hyam. Mickey Hyam, who tonight is playing his 95th consecutive appearance for Wigan. He's not missed since he joined the club.
Hands out, David, go.
Barrett. Tim Smith pops it up to Mathers. Mathers gives it to Gareth Hock. And Hock, who has looked full of it tonight since he's come on, he gets away from them. Fantastic try for Gareth Hock. Fantastic try for Wigan. And with the World Cup hat on, a fantastic moment for England. Gareth Hock just stepped out of the trouble then, and his try could well have propelled Wigan into the next round of the Engage Super League playoffs in 2008. He celebrates his return with what will surely be a vital Wigan try tonight.
They don't come much better than this. First the offload there by the big fella, Palliasina. Hyam, who has been a real thorn in the Bradford defence since he came into the fray. But this is sheer quality. Keep it alive. Come and get me. Come and get me. Step, step. You're not strong enough. Takes a good man to throw away Solomona, and it takes a better man to do the sidestep. And this piece of individual brilliance from the second row, Gareth Hock, could this have just booked him a ticket on the flight down to Australia? You wouldn't bet against it. He's the type of player that the Australians, they really respect him.
And Pat Richards adds the extras. 30 points to 14 in Wigan's favour. Suspended since the 25th of July. He has missed the last 5. His first try of last year came in the playoffs against Hull in 2007. That's not gone 10. Now it has.
The amazing thing is, Eddie, is that how pleasing for a coach when he just throws in a player and within seconds of him coming off the bench, it produces what should be the killer blow.
Well, look, Gareth Hock with a vital try maybe, but before that we saw Cameron Phelps leave the field on the stretcher. What's the news, Rod?
Yeah, he's not in a good way, Eddie, that goes without saying. The Wigan medical staff have taken him into the concourse here at the Stobart Stadium, and Dr. Chris Brooks is having a good look at him. He was certainly unconscious when he came past us and was still receiving oxygen as they went back into the inside of the Stobart Stadium.
Well, let's hope that he is all right. 10 minutes to go. You would not be putting any money on extra time at this point in time, would you? But we were saying that 12 months ago when Wigan were at Odsal, remember, and it was 30 points to 6.
It's going to be an amazing fight back if the Bulls can get back into this game.
Here he goes again, Gareth Hock. This time they deal with him on the last. Hyam waits, weighs up options both ways, gives it to Tim Smith. Smith applies the brakes, gives it back to Mathers, who is under pressure. He was under pressure then from Sykes. The ball lands safely in the arms of Michael Platt. Now then, can Bradford respond? 9 minutes to go. 16 points the difference.
Well, the defence should hold out. They're looking very tired at Bradford. They've had to go through long periods of defence.
Here's the man who could turn it, Solomona.
That's been mainly brought about by the intelligent coaching from Brian Noble. Not only did he throw out Hock out there, he's thrown out Tim Smith, taking over the responsibility that Thomas Lulawai displayed in the first half.
Banganar's lost it. Here come Wigan with Mathers. Jadulala deals with Mathers. Tim Smith. Carmont gets it wide. Bailey slips the net.
Again, trying to get on with playing the ball very quickly.
It's Barrett again.
That's been one of the highlights of the second half from the Wigan Warriors, and really has created all sorts of trouble. Quick play the ball, big fella goes through.
That was Paliasina, and Langley comes back for a second effort at it. He plays the ball to Hyam. This is Harrison Hansen. Last tackle. Tim Smith. Tim Smith! So close, it's the turnover.
Well, it's a good option to take at 30 points to 14 in the lead when you're just meters away from the try line. You know that you've got a pretty good defence there, and look at this crunching stuff.
Bradford deep in their own half. Wigan anxious to keep them there. That's 2 tackles gone.
They're out on the feet of the Bulls, and they know it. They've just been battered this second half, especially in the last 15 minutes.
Bradford been to so many penalty, and this is a relieving penalty for the Bradford Bulls. I'm going to say their last trophy was a World Club challenge against the West Tigers in 2006 for Bradford, but they have been to so many grand finals. Can they rescue this match in the next 6 minutes or so? Solomona gets the ball wide. Great run from Nero. Ball down by Calderwood.
Did well there. Made sure he got the ball carrying arm, couldn't offload.
Solomona again, jinks inside one. Gets the ball away, but it was impossible really. You've got to try and chance your arm, although that was touched by a Wigan hand. It's Bradford's scrum.
Well spotted again by Ashley Klein. I think I might come out in a rash, Eddie. I keep praising the man with the whistle.
Keep working that turn. Joel, gotta make 10, all right? Keep working.
Yeah, I think there's a...
Yes, it was Bailey.
Bailey just get the fingertips to it before Tadulala.
So here come Bradford now with Jeffries. Now it's with Sykes. Sykes trying to take on Carmont, but Carmont stands his ground. They must score here, Bradford. They must.
It's been a great battle. I'm just saying it's been a great battle between Sykes and Carmont.
Lost the ball there, Cook. It's a knock on. Cook was claiming there was a bit of a grapple tackle, but Ashley Klein didn't see it if there was one, and he's furious, Matt Cook.
Well, they won't be rushing to form the scrum, that's for sure. I think it just highlights, Sean McRae, the importance of having good quality substitutes. We've seen Luluai come back into the field of play now, but it's the fact that he's been able to turn things around, Brian Noble, that has really turned this match around.
Absolutely, Steve. I think that Tim Smith was an interesting signing. I was never quite sure where he was going to play, but what Tim Smith's been able to do is take pressure off Trent Barrett, take pressure off Thomas Luluai, and take a little bit of pressure off Mickey Hyam, so they can all kind of intermingle there and intertwine and interchange. And so he's proved to be quite a good signing, even though he probably hasn't done a lot of outstanding things yet. But what he's been able to do is, a guy like Thomas Luluai has been able to sit off, have a little break, get some energy, recuperate, get back on the field and be influential again instead of having to play a full 80 minutes. So it doesn't have to be Thomas Luluai, it could be Trent Barrett, it could be Mickey Hyam that has a spell.
Talking about having a spell, Palliasina comes off to a great round of applause as they try and find touch, and they do, off the boot of Trent Barrett, who has been an immense influence on this playoff tie again tonight, just as he was 12 months ago at Odsal. 4.5 to go.
I think his biggest influence tonight has been the ability, because there have been so many changes, that he's been the boss out there. He's been cajoling his players. You've got to do this, you've got to do that, get yourself into a good position. It's been a classy display by Wigan.
Bradford have played their full part. Here is Michael Platt. They won't give up until the final throw of the dice, but 16 points in 4 minutes. It's impossible, surely, but they're not packing up. Oh, that's a forward pass again from David Solomona to Tadulala.
He's disappointed. He's trying his damnedest.
The end of the road for Bradford, I feel.
It is forward. You could see it drift there. It was... so we're going over the 40-metre line. That gives some indication of the man with the whistle. I might create history tonight, Eddie.
Man of the match, Ashley Klein?
Yeah.
I don't think that's in the rules somehow. I know you rewrite rules every week, but I don't think you can do that.
Okay.
This is Tompkins, whose try was so vital to the Wigan cause. Here's another penalty for Wigan. Will they just take the sting out of this and just ask Pat Richards to kick 2 more?
Pat Richards just walks very slowly, and at the side of him is the carrier with the plastic. T.
It's been a brave effort from Bradford and that man, Glenn Morrison, in particular.
Oh, they're kicking right for the corner. They want to rub it right in.
Well, the plastic tee was sent out by Brian Noble. 3 to go. They want to end with a bit of a flourish here, Wigan. Can they? Good first drive. Coming in from Stuart Fielden. This is Luluai to Tompkins. Tompkins watched all the way by 3 Bradford defenders. Hyam. Oof. Big collision. Jeffries and Hansen. Hansen gets up, plays the ball to Hyam. Here is Barrett. Here is Hawk. Still Gareth Hawk. Mickey Hyam trying to pinch one himself. Mickey Hyam gets over the line, but impossible to get that ball down.
The last 15 minutes, Mickey Hyam has been all over the place. Wonderful play.
Coley went for the power play, and Coley is tackled on the last. It's the turnover, but look where they are. Right on their own line. Newton's long pass finds Jeffries. Jeffries has got Tompkins ahead of him and Fielden, and they're trying to work him back towards his own line.
Been a wonderful defensive effort by the Warriors. They really have muscled up. The first 20 minutes of this match, it was the other way around. It was the Bulls that were taking control, and they looked a little bit shaky for a while, Wigan. And maybe, just maybe, Eddie, Bradford will be looking towards that disallowed try early in the first half, when the try from Nero, remember Tadulala the knock back. It's an amazing decision. Chance here though.
There is, but not anymore, because Calderwood sorted all out for Wigan on halfway. Bradford just trying and chancing their arm, which they have to do. Carmont, infield it goes to Mathers. Wanted down by Langley. Hyam to Coley.
3, stay! Go free, David. Wait for it, go.
Hyam again. Here is Fielden.
4. Let him up, man. Mark him square. Hold, wait, Andy. Go.
Hyam.
Okay.
Hawk, quick hands. Carmont, knock on.
forward.
Too quick. Went forward, he
Gone
says.
forward.
Ashley Klein.
It's gone down, Bradford heading feet.
30 seconds to go. Wigan are on their way
Okay,
to the
guys.
next phase of the playoffs.
Second row, move
30
forward,
points to
fine.
14, and they trailed 8-0. But Cameron Phelps, that's great news, and great to see him out of the dressing room and looking fully compos mentis.
Arms around, Wigan.
I don't think we're going to get time to form this scrum. We're not now, the referee holds the clock up. But 8-0 down, there was a real scare for Wigan, Sean McRae. But Brian Noble's men, they know the way to win playoff ties, don't they?
They sure do. They fought their way back in very, very well, and they got the ascendancy. They started to dominate field position. They dominated possessions. They got a lot of kicks in. They were able to put pressure on. As we watch Richie Mathers here, he'll probably run the ball over the sideline. I think he'll get very close to it to finish the game off.
There's the full-time siren. It's Wigan who march on here at the Stobart Stadium with us. Denied the use of their own ground, but they put all that acrimony behind them. The players, according to Trent Barrett, were devastated in the week to know that they couldn't play on their own pitch. But they came just up the road to witness, and they turned this stadium into a mini JJB. And now they will wait and see what happens next in the next 24 hours to Catalan Dragons and Warrington. They're either at home to Warrington or they will travel to Catalan, depending on the result in the south of France tomorrow night. Stuart Fielden has beaten his former colleagues again, and the Wigan crowd travelled, well, not the vast distance, but travelled anyway to witness, to make sure it was a home ground.